So de la ba joy je je ra sha ja Amen. Te jo la 觉将结共下，假为色不所来所外。假为色不所来所外的，每种言的自己三界，贪别见来难改假不当。戒定知戒般别心个，假设三不下来所问的，假设三不下来所问的。常觉多见多个不解释，他别来也解所见言，也顿多为真别见念中。南无个将解沙来所闻的，南无个将解沙来所闻的，每每皆为得解解来se，天每见别。长辈看见给所给总阿巴，来生长辈下来所来生长辈下来所的。这万这真被家所当，开着没为你们的来吧，你越当被自己保住的，他们拉玛苏玛拉。所的，他们拉玛所来所的，三者个也觉见多觉当，这什么有家我也啥吧。大三界一切沙，开出见不什么来所闻的，开出见不什么来所闻的，来三界将在见呗。天也多些观者将在上，拉玛三在罗三也些，这拉玛所拉所的，这拉玛所拉。参巴当，天也多在罗三年代上，要做大云的大雁啊，天天拉玛所 Samalaya Sohande Sanje Lama Samalaya Sohande Raya Sanye Shaya Tembaya Ravage Lord Sambe Dogoya Namandrote Raya Sanja Vechu Zoijin Some Lama Somla Sovande Some Lama Somala Sovande Kaya Sangaya Namande Shebe Londote Shedu Nye Jezin Layan Dada Kai Jenya Me Tawe Lamala Kosun Goba Chembe Sovande Manga Samoyam Goba Chembe Sovande Nade Dambarai Shabe Jengur Venye Chube Reda Sunyesa Tenzan Dunje Mose Gunde Tenzin Gedo Shala Sovande Tenzin Gedo Shala Sovande Tenzan Jane Malendego Raya Sanjamba Leshen Robezo Raya Samajunde Lundo Gazudo Teje Trove Golai Sovande Chanje Trove Golai Sovande Chanzunde Lai Soya Panoi Toye Le Damajande Jembezo Namai Shite Le Gyate Guje Yonjaje Lama Sovande Yonjaje Lama Sovande Lozanya Wai Gunge Yejeni Jede Jeme Gyade Jemezon Rai Janai Gengo Gyasu Chodu Gui Tejen Ame Shalai Sovande Tejen Ame Shalai Sovande Ngamo Sangya Denibosu Singya Jetilorobe Seso Wangyo Sombar Mebesi Nambandu Vedela Sovade Nambandu Vedela Sovade Mejo Loje Sambu Gawede Bela Jime Dade Sheye He Onga Ge Mande No Bucho Ta Ye Do Jin Ge La So Ta Ye Do Jin Ge Na So De Raja So Ra Go Na Da We Mi Te Sa Tha Ba Jo Be Jo Ngo Cho Te We Jo We Thang Ge Ze Ma Yi Se Je She Nian Na La So Wa De Se Je She Nian Na La So Wa De Fa De La De Na Ba Tha Ba La Ge Ji Zam Yang Lo Da Min Ge Xin Ji Ze Le Ba Tong We Mu Gu Ge Na Me Chi La Se La Ju Ba Ju
English. Yuan de Gun Je Ji Ju Zhen Jian Ji Zu Zhe Den Ba Lam Ye Zha Wa Le Ba Ra Tong Ne Be Ba Tu Ma Ye Gu Ba Jin Be Den Ba Ra Jin Ji Gu Ba Jin Be Den Ba Ra Jin Ji Lin Jie Nye Be Ta Be Den Sang De Xin Du Nye Ga Tun Jin Jie Ju 人家工作宁波人别老军节没把来接我来经济，军节没把接我来经济，如说要我去也去不些牛多，级别计划天把。 7月结束，略大也芝麻先干那连的节节的当我。 我把电波年年月做这些，他我南家帮我，给做他把主把来接把了，大多跑等电把来经济，大多跑等电把来经济，这边命我东啊滚机，我一年没罗这边奔走，年面人家他别的我。 推你肩膊接我来经济，推你肩膊接我来经济。南大三百铁也张把也天在西线八月肩膊，天边早晚说说的大瓦拉住我宁波来接我经济。 主把宁波接把来经济，罗让你写出了龙华经济。 多满月着我滚江天道，童年着我着我过节，为强着生着中把来经济，强着生着中把来经济，罗生长嘛叠加春天嘛那么什么拉公把门，两把拉童年建设东把拉中把差别罗把来经济。 三把差别老把来经济，老别越来烟花西街，金阳大屯来出现这把，现在浪多送多这边，老牛多越来接我来经济，牛多越来接我来经济，他妈浪家那多就把那天把根基就这多些。 刚上街边中国当把，天得来牛多就把来经济，得来牛多就把来经济。天天我这那年这边先能在他们这当把做，这嘛明边俺把你就那送当都得送我经济。 Sodan de de sumara jinji Tenje je de nimbo rini Gene nama jeje done zomba Tenje nanjiro jole miya Wa tambe sunjen druba jinji Tambe sunjen druba ra jinji Chona shaten che da nange ya pa do chebe so nye wara shi wa jinji la do nye wa shi wara jinji la do so kya wa gun da yang da la ma dan dan che ge pa la long che sa da lang ge yuen de ra zo ne de che chang ho wang yo do yo
知道作业出南了，长修宝多大年教祖起，大业去年也别所难也，着了喷射三业着八修。知道作业出南了，长修宝多大年教祖起。大业去年也别所难也，着了喷射三业着八修。知道作业出南了，长修宝多大年教祖起。大业去年也别所难也，着了喷射三业着八修。
sonja somara de shi je de ju ju ba de da shi je dam be shi ni chen ne de shi shi la ye ge no 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 je ge ro da da me ge no no ro ge je da na je da tam je ge de da ge ju don do ma je na ge ta na nyam be sin je tam je don de to za na na me ba yong da ba to be son je ko mu mu je chen yo to ba cha de je de tam be chu sen nyam be ko no ku ju ye ma na de pa son de So
for the sake of all mother sentient beings throughout the limits of space, one must attain the state of full enlightenment, Buddhahood, the precious state of Buddhahood by every means. For this purpose, one should now listen to these teachings on the graduated path of enlightenment, and please clarify your motivation in such a way and listen in this manner. Yes.
Regarden ji number tam je jimbe sadro be jibi jo ge judo fe nimba da lamrem se yendu number tam je jimbe sana doya ke lamga lamye ke so no ji cha de yo ro so inde da de thoma ne shin ye den zo ne je ne rem ji lam ya do de lam do so Geramba she ya de la lamrem se ge wa de da lamrem 대나니 집에 중에 침보 솜지 남자를 봐 여기는 집에 중 대나 그래다 점루고지 점루 납지고 쉬어야 말이야 그래다 점루 납자 나다다 배운 준비고는 년년 좀 전에 좀 잡는 거 와서야 돼 가서 쉬어야 돼 나한테 참는 마시죠
So the teachings that we'll be listening to is the graduated path to enlightenment, the Lamrim, which is the path, the excellent path that guides the fortunate ones to the ground or the state of omniscient Buddhahood. So this path is such known as such due to one begins the path by firstly relying on the virtuous friend, and then gradually progressing in stages all the way up towards enlightenment. So therefore, in a graduated fashion, therefore it is a path, graduated path of enlightenment. And within this, the outlines, three major outlines, the path, the graduated path for the being of the lower capacity, and the middling capacity and the highest capacity. So therefore, these among these three, now we have at the part of the being of the lower capacity, or the smallest capacity. And within this, we come to the section of refuge. And within the section of refuge, we've come to the section of precepts of refuge. And within that, we have come to the section of remembering the benefits of refuge, and then hence taking refuge 3 times during the day and 3 times at night. I've completed that yesterday, and we shall continue from this section onwards.
대다기 제도 근조 동안에 새로 근데 동안 주만 주면 찔러봐줘. 잠을 동안 냠도 영영 시담 자시. 이 얘기 좀 제대로 잡동에 스마바 매자고. 이말다. 근조 좀 타나 얘기 이제처럼 속에 전용 매동이 송하자. 근데다 근조 속에 전용 매동 송고요래. 인다나 잠로 정해 인나다 잠리 납자 송고요. 잠리 납자 때라 근조선은 이 타반에 잡서로 와 요나 인다나 속에 좀 매동 송야세야 돼요. 용거로 봐. 근데 속에 전용 매동 세야 되다. 현대적인 전원의 잠로 동계 있는 바 잠로 마도나 세계 있어야지 충분히나 그래는 세조야 이 말에 근데 제가 나다 속에서 몇 동안서야 돼 송이어로.
So then we've come to section on in the text is page 205, the bottom of page 205, and here it says here, maintain your refuge and do not forsake 3 jewels, even at a cost, even if it in jest of it costs you your life. So this is the sixth of the personal instructions, the benefits of refuge as appear in personal instructions. So here it says, when one takes refuge in the 3 jewels, one should protect one's refuge, even at the cost of one's life. One should not abandon one's refuge towards the 3 jewels. Now that one has taken refuge in the 3 jewels, one should observe the precepts of refuge. And since one has taken refuge in the 3 jewels from the very depths of one's being, one should not abandon it even at the cost of one's life. For example, if someone were to threaten you with death, and if you should saying that you must give up your refuge in 3 jewels, otherwise I will kill you. So even under such occasions, under such circumstances, still one should not abandon one's refuge towards the 3 jewels. Yes.
Before that, so if one devote from very bottom of the heart, then the practice that one don't give up life, the one do not give up refuge. Cherishing more the life than giving up refuge. That doesn't not giving up refuge even cause life danger. That doesn't. So that will happen. So if one devote from bottom of the heart, then the practice not giving up refuge even when it's cause life danger. This will happen.
이 말다 속에서 연매도 다나네 예게 잠지 세대요 근조동에 지금 마음에요 이 말이 이제 개모노약에서 너 제네 땅에 주지미 내 근조봉이 있어야노 된들람 메롱아리.
So then the next advice is that one should not abandon the 3 jewels, even if it's a joke, even in jest. One should not jokingly say, I shall not practice Dharma anymore, I shall abandon the 3 jewels. These kinds of jokes or jest should even be abandoned as well. Yes.
이 말이다. 된지전지 나제야 근조세를 좀 지자지로 시에제는 대리에서 대인바된 근조봉소 쇼그에서 근조의 챙기를 해야노 다 된데 제비나 근데 잠들다는 게 누구요래 이 말이다. 저기제비나 뒤체되는 근조봉으로요. 근데 이제 잠들다는 게 말이야. 근데 나제야서야 제동네 메롱이 말이야. 대노네 근조세서야 돼. 다 잠들다는 게 누구요래.
So if one is also one should avoid swearing using the name of the three jewels. So this, for example, if one makes a certain declaration and one says the three jewels is one's witness, or the three jewels know that I'm saying the truth, and so forth, one should not say such things. If this is said, then it goes against the precepts of refuge, and especially if one is saying a lie and then uses the name of the three jewels, this goes against the refuge precepts. In general, one should not swear in general, and especially especially when one uses, if one were to use the name of the three jewels, then they would even be more improper. It goes against refuge precepts. Yes. So in the past, the king of Tibet, Lama Yeshua, who had invited Lama Atisha to Tibet, he was kidnapped by the king of Garlok, which was a non-Buddhist king. And so King of Garlok had threatened him, saying that you should abandon the Dharma, otherwise I will not, if you abandon the Dharma, I will release you, if not I will kill you. And hence the king Lama Yeshua refused to abandon Dharma and thus sacrificed himself. So one should have faith in the three jewels to this extent. Yes.
So the medon Jayake Radalo Joya can Jongo Yorsena and Tujund. Ludo Sodon Lonjone, Nomazawan and Jugares. That is on Jose Adela Tabayama, go Caduina, Mendo Injury. That Nomaza said Tesomeva. Tesomeva couldn't train Royajiri, Mendo Yajiri. That teaches the Conjoton Joyina. Reta, Luzo Lonjo, Travayinayon, Sendi Chigore, and Lonjo Rajinata, Sendi Chigore, Lonjo the Travare. And the Conjo de Tonjayina, Conjo Ponjayina, set up Tamjeta. That Conjo Ponjayina, Ti Nimi, Donga Mombonyon de Goya, Serum the Serum. And the Tanda Conjo Tombayina, and the Ti Jumdian River, on Mahon Banayon, and the Conjo de Matre. Name Dunga Yoyo Kala, Jason, Dunga Rumba, Jujin, Dunga Juma, Juma Jiba, Jumiyore. Tender ended that Canada was Johnson and Jella Palmer John, Concho Medon, and the Dunjud, Tamjachi, Shedam Yoni on the jet, Tender Jevina, and the Kalega Lord Chong Jene, so it's a Medon, the Jungi.
So here on top page 206, it says here, inevitably you will lose your body, life, and resources. So here is how does one train with such firm conviction in the three jewels that one will not abandon the three jewels even at the cost of one's life. One should repeatedly contemplate that one's physical, even if one were to part with one's physical body, one's life, as well as one's enjoyments, one's resources, still that kind of loss is nothing, because it is only all these things. Eventually, one will part with them because they are not permanent in nature. Eventually, one will come to lose them. So it says here, inevitably, this means that this loss of separation is something that is without doubt. It definitely will occur. And even if so, even if one were to be separated from these, this is only a loss pertaining to this life. It is only a loss pertaining to this life. However, if one were to abandon the three jewels, that kind of loss is a loss that is accrued from over a span of many lifetimes. So one will lose the happiness of many lifetimes, experience many sufferings. So in this life, one will experience many sufferings. In future lives, one will not meet with the three jewels and so forth. And therefore, one will experience endless sufferings uninterruptedly. So therefore, one should repeatedly, through contemplating in this way, one should repeatedly vow over and over again to never forsake one's refuge, to never abandon one's refuge, or even just mouthing the words in jest. Yes.
초 간로요 대대지지 봐도 자전로 랍집이 랍자지 고만나 손데 고마도 이 말이다 남아 고마까지 손나 초 건으로나 샤손으로나 샤속의 손제도 잡선로 버려서야 근데 잠들 랍자리에서 손게 좋은 말이 내가 초가와 지면이나 초 대지지 봐도 잡선 손바이나 근데 동안 담진 누구를 했으면 된다 여러 저 인나용대 잠들 납자인 바데 다 공만 도서 이제 잠들 납자인 바 공매야.
So then here Lama Tsongkhapa says, further teachers in the past have said that there is a precept that you should practice going for refuge to the Tathagata or the Buddha of whichever direction you are going in. So here Lama Tsongkhapa says, I have not seen a source for this. So
taking refuge, whichever direction you're going, taking refuge to that direction with us.
So in whichever direction that one is traveling towards, to take refuge in the Buddha pertaining to the Buddha residing in that direction, and then so there, in general there is such a practice whereby wherever one
by doing that then you have success.
Wherever one travels, then all of one's, if one travels in that particular direction and prays to the Buddha residing in that direction, then one achieves success in all of one's wishes, all of one's tasks or purposes are accomplished. And however, there is such a practice. However, to say that this is an actual refuge precept, Lama Tsongkhapa says he has not seen a source for such a claim, to validate such a claim as a refuge precept in itself.
이 말이다. 이 말이다. 제일 손은 그게 죄다 제용 그래다 손제 손다 된지 되게 공매이나 근데 옛날에와 손들이 요대야 이나요 근데 다나 이야기 매야래 근데 인도 근데 랍자대요 랍자 임비다 가도 된지 되게 공매야 이 말이 매야다 안돼 말동하지 다 제일모저런 게 동양하게 단다 도몽에 랍자 조우송야다 내제 공요래서 대다 도몽에 랍자 조네 남론 레반 중앙지 인나 님바다 조조 남제 도마 조 대인데바스니다 남론 론데리 여러바 대진 인나 님바 랍자 도몽에 랍자 소수 랍자 도모 som네 노델리시지 소수 랍자 손제를 잡아서 손에 그래야 사진을 잡아서 만들어 손대야다. 주를 잡아서 손에 손제 놓세 본 거야. 견디 잡아서 손에 근데 단다 낸데 캠면행다 되게 나 예매대 손야게 납자 손모대 너도 좀 낸데게 너에 놓는 손이야 공 임바래 다 참아 손 단다
So then, in general, Lama Tsongkhapa, in his writings, if there is a particular text or a saying that is to be cited in Lama Tsongkhapa's text in his writings, then he would source out the original. He would search for the original source of such sayings, whether they appear in the sutras or the tantras, or even within the writings of the great panditas in India. If the sayings or the sayings were not validated with such original sources, such as the scriptures or the tantras or the writings, classical writings of the Indian panditas, then Lama Tsongkhapa would not include them or cite them within his writing. So therefore, here Lama Tsongkhapa further goes to say, in general, he has presented six general precepts in accordance with how they appear in Natisha's commentary. So here, the precepts, 6 general precepts, Lama Tsongkhapa has quoted them with their source from the commentary Lama teaches commentary of the difficult points of the commentary for the lamp of the path enlightenment. And within that, Lama Tsongkhapa says the first three of the special precepts are explained in the sutras. So the first three of the special precepts are having taken refuge in the Buddha, relying on virtuous friends and a spiritual master, and having gone for refuge to Dharma jewel to abandon harm and injury to sentient beings, and having taken refuge in the Sangha jewel to disassociate with beings who do not associate with beings who do not acknowledge the existence of karma and so forth, possessing such wrong views. So these three general precepts are explained in the sutras. Yes.
Lenye kanji ina yo tela kuba madaba toma ngujin du shi ya go ya da chu se se je ba yan jiu na chu gu nyong ta ben du shi ya go ya le da gen du gu jo na ka se lemba ma se jo le dang gen du gu nyong du shi ya go song de ya ti kong jamro yen la chu ba len jong de ima da den ju ya ge den ju ya lo bo ji ge song ima de yen la chu ba len jong de ji ge de gu su se se jie ba da hen ba se bo da ba la de mu go ne dong ba da in da de ba da mu be go ne da gu su de la dong ba ngu ji en de ji ya go re song da sha ne song ba ta da la go ba me da ji wo no dong be song ta da da 스즈제바 연조 이게 나치 연조 고바마다 왔지 근데 조금 연구진도 시시하네 고바치 무고네 지워야 알로 된데 제거야다 강사 다도 만다라 담바다와 자인스다 랍드 중화 다과 다 주름 다과 마다바 주름 차대 요나요 그게 고음에 된데 남되게 요나 대라네 wrong ne bege ta re jo ma ta che jibe ta ma yin ba ta go res ta ma ta ba cha ba gen du gu yong ta min du shi ya go res song de ya ge kong de ma re
Yes. And then here the other three, the later three precepts and the later three in the special precepts are quoted from Vimalamitra's writing, the great master Vimalamitra's writing, Six Aspects of Going for Refuge. So later other three precepts are whether with regards to Buddha images, irregardless of their quality or their the skill employed in crafting, in fashioning the image of the Buddha, one should not criticize or hold a critical attitude towards the image. Rather, one should respect it and see as the actual Buddha or the actual founder himself. And also, with regards to taking refuge in the Dharma, even a single verse or a line that one comes across, one should respect that. Even as one should respect it as the actual Dharma jewel, and respect that way. And then, with regards to taking refuge in the Sangha jewel, one should not walk over the robes and so forth. Respect even the pieces of robes by remembering the Sangha jewel. So here it says, even ordinary monks and so forth, monks in ordinary Sangha and so forth, to think them as actual Sangha jewel. So here, Lama Tsongkhapa quotes from Vimalamitra's writing. Says here, an image, verse, or discarded scrap of yellow cloth. Our faith and belief consider it to be the teacher. Do not mistakenly deny anything he has said. So here, even a single, so one should regard all of these with faith and respect. So it says here, even a single verse or a line that one comes across, whether it's discarded scrap of writing, Dharma writing, then one should, even if it's just a single letter, one should put on one's crown in respect. And it says here, to view impure and view pure and impure persons as though they were noble, beings. So here regards to the ordained people, whether they have pure morality or their morality is impure, if they have faulty ethics, then still from one side, one should not focus on their faults. Rather, one should see them as noble beings, excellent beings, and then general respect. Yes. So even for an ordained person who has broken his or her vows, still there are still as mentioned the other day, the great masters said that even though so one should respect it for those who wear this piece of fabric, the yellow or maroon color. For those who wear this, possess infinite qualities. So this was mentioned in the past. So in India, there is so one should respect, the ordained members, as even though they may have even though some of them may have these faults, one should still respect them this way, because this.
So one who live in the impure morality, but dressed as the renounced the robe. So as I mentioned before above subject, that one should devote them, one should devote them by reflecting that these beings there's no one among them who doesn't have even one single quality. So by thinking that among them there's no one who doesn't have one single quality. So by thinking the quality, then one should respect, devote them.
So also this was mentioned by the Buddha, who said that made reference to this Jambaka flower, which is a flower that is indigenous to India, and this flower is what you see during empowerments or when the offerings are arranged. This is a particular kind of dried flower. There's also another type of Jambaka flower that is yellow in color and fragrant. However, whichever type of Jambaka flower referred, the Buddha has mentioned, even if one were to have a broken Jambaka flower, it is better than all other types of flowers. If there is a ordained being with broken vows, still his quality is better than that of the non-Buddhists, many of the other non-Buddhists.
This as a nun who's living and has the impure ethics, morality. Even the vows broken, but it's much more special, exalted than hundreds of the Mudekpa, the anti-Buddhist, the followers. Those the opposite path.
말다 단 가진 된 누가는 중화하세요. 내가 점류 평형나 누가는 중화 시세니다. 그래서 점류 납자나요. 이 말다 누가는 중화하세네. 정성한다 누가는 중화성돼야 돼. tenla ba do la jong wan nam la so te je ne tenla ba do ba no la pa pa to me ge so ma chi inde da kama be so ne ka da me ge wi shin ye da kama ba so ya kong ge so ne de nam ne so ba so teon ba la ne nyam bo gom ba la tu so shin ye in da ne so nezorba ase ne o kadam gishi ji horwa ne kadam gishi nezorba ase ya konge labre no na dowa ne sumbe penyon de son me bare inde da kama be son ne de son goyan da ji yore son me do son tomba na kare se na ane nezorba da ngin nyambu gomba be kum de ne shube kabla gomba be son chons son bare da ne dandan de kama ba konge zambe lavrem lumaba yo kadam gishi lumaba se teni ba jubi lavre nona te che kono animar.
So here it says that these precepts were drawn from the Compendium of Determinations as the text that was composed by Arya Sangha. And here it says that the great Kadampa master Gamaba they mentioned that Nusuba, which is another great Kadampa master, in his Lamrim, he did not teach these precepts that were mentioned in the Compendium of Determinations. However, both Gamaba and Nusuba, both of them have received these instructions from Gombawa, another great Kadampa master, and these precepts of going for refuge appear in the presentation of the Lamrim that is transmitted in a different lineage, which comes from Gombawa, Great Master Gombawa, to another Master Lumbawa. Yes.
junde jabsen ro da so gi chen me dong wa do kun jong cho ba de cho dong ga na dong wan do la ka je so si la ja chen ma som dong ga wa de gu dong wan do de la ma nyam be jo che do on jo so gi chen me dong wa de ga wa ne jam ro dong ngu yin la de ji de gu jo so ma dong yo te da ta men tin be dong ba la so bo som na ni ji che na o je de me ma ga je jiao de lo ma ge be dong la de la ma jo na la zang ga wa zang ji dong ji men ba sem so ho 이마다 잠로 전에 랍자도 제 랍고레스 송바로와 다 랍자는 가와 있나니 가르치기래 잠로 동으로 그래가 그냥 동거 말해서나 다 될라 네 달라마 뭐만 남지 단다 소질라자 동보 솜세다 가신 다게 해셔야 되래다 단다 손녀의 잡서 손에 나기나 잡서 먼저 손대 야게 된데 나자 동보 솜지 대거는 견데 잡서 로고래 손야 대지 속에서 한번 동하지 그건 좀 줘봐라 동거래 손야 대 조던가나 잠도 동으로 그래서 손이 말해 나 잠도 동반이나 다 대줄 잠도 매버래 잠도 매버 차차래 이제는 용조는 잠도 쉬고야 그래 잠을 너무 놓으니 잠을 너무 동사 인자 그래 네 군요 대반요는 연조는 잠을 쉬고요 저기거든 다 영어 가지게 반다 뒤 쪽이 거나 소질하다 참았음 그래 고수 나 공공진도 시작하고야다 세계적인 조나 중 공공진도 시작하고야 근데 한번 맞아 tun제를 걔는 고정의진 시작하고 와서 뒤고동 가봐이나 잠로 동거래 한만 양비 조치그래서네 손이 다 좋아인 말 근데 손이
So the next, when one goes for refuge, one should, having gone for refuge, one should also observe the precepts of refuge. If one does not observe precepts of refuge, then to what extent does one need to observe these precepts that the refuge is not abandoned or not, one has not lost one's refuge? So to what extent does one still retain the refuge, or has one lost the refuge? To what extent does one need to observe the precepts? So therefore, it says here in the text, the Lama Tsongkhapa says that the former masters had suggested that if one does not observe the three special precepts, or the three special precepts, sorry, the first three of the special precepts, which is having taken refuge in the Buddha, not relying on other worldly beings as refuge, and then and so forth, as well as the following three: constantly going for refuge, not forsaking refuge even for the sake of your life, making offering to three jewels. If one has abandoned these, one has gone against these six, then one has lost one's refuge, in the sense that one, even though one continues to have faith in the three jewels, one still needs to retake the refuge vows. And then there are also other masters, which include the last three special precepts of refuge, which is seeing the body once regarding the images of the Buddha as the actual Buddha himself, and then even with 4 words or a verse of the Dharma, showing respect to that regarding its actual Dharma jewel, and with regards to Sangha and so forth, regarding them as these ordinary ordained people, regarding as the actual Sangha jewel. Yes.
onjo sogi sinyo me toma ngawani chamro toma nguyin la imrta dagi sogi jege sinyo kunyo me toma sinya te dong ga ne ende sogi se da chamro tong yin sen ne re da ka sam member because nyen ne tong yaw yin na ende chamro toma ngures inda te dong ga da sogi sinyo tong me toma asia te dong ga yin na ne chamro 동안 문에래 임바르 예 다점들 랍자 동가완나 랍자 동가베다 니바 용게레 마도 동안 문에 말에 송임바르 점들 랍제노 다 이게 예는면 잡선 로와시 야지 잡선 로소가래 요와 이제 건조 류마도 하지 건조 류마도 건조 나면 잡선 로고야지 요 서르도 잡이 현진요 제비나 잠닌지세야 되잖아요. 나 잠닌지 제비나 아니 군조 집어도 너무 막해가. 군조 집어도 너무 막해네. 서도 잡된 바 인자 아니 너무 막해가 차인자 젠도면 마도 그러니까 잠로 너무 막해가 인도 잠로 동로 그래서 잠닌지 제비나 그래다 제 잠리라던 가왔던 그래 마도 잠도 동게 말해 소이 나도 현다 동가나 동게 말해.
So here, Lama Tsongkhapa says, what constitutes an actual forsaking of refuge in the three jewels. And so, as mentioned before, one should not abandon refuge in the three jewels, even at the expense of one's life. So here it says not just merely saying, but from abandoning the three jewels or forsaking the three jewels, refuge in the three jewels for the depths of one's being. And so, and that will constitute an actual forsaking of refuge, losing one's refuge. However, if one were to go against the other refuge precepts, that will constitute only a offense. There's a fault or a negativity, a fault in regards to those precepts. One commits a fault or offense, but however, that's not considered as an actual losing of refuge or forsaking of refuge. And then another occasion is whereby one, even though one has not mentally abandoned the three jewels, one still continues to take refuge in the three jewels. But also at the same time, one were to take refuge in another object of refuge other than three jewels, in another founder, another teaching community. And hence one ends up having a double refuge. So in this case, one is not holding or trusting the three jewels as one's sole refuge. So if one were to hold a double refuge and not hold the three jewels as a sole refuge, then one loses one's refuge. With regards to other precepts, likewise, if one goes against them, is merely an offense, an offense or a negativity, a fault of going against the precepts. One does not lose refuge in the same way as mentioned above. Yes.
대단하 자우선 로만의 선제지 땜바는 주고 고침보 인진 잠로 세자만 요나 또 보도 중에 땜바 인비 친원게 바지 좀 메세바다 연대지 제반은 제라시 냠가베 고는 배반 주비 응아르시에 바다 지바도 연대 좀 봐서 저거는 자우서 선제 대여 나오자는 만나와 나 매반 내도 채워 이말다 잠로 나오자도 제바시 세네 조드 다 랍자 노니 말에 대단하 다 잠로서 양데 손제 때만 주게 그래다 잠로 연매 nomba sonje ba yeme jamro yeme je gone yawa yende tembalin ju go chimbores bena komba no yena gode no ya zibi na kombe no lever ba gode ma tombe yena en chelo lever ba ten no je ne jamro namda yona nombe no ya tsure jamro namda mena nomba de cher tombare tende yende ne go chimbo yin so 다요 누구 전문이 마세 잠로 색삼면 봐 요나스 근데 잠로 다 부이단다 평용 제다와지는 용화나 잠로다 니 타반이 오고 그러와 얘가 색삼 잡아서 소면이나 가서 쉬어 놓으시네 내가 봐지는 거 된다 도기요래데 단다 평용 제다와지는 쉐바 용도고요 말이 인도에 잠로 색삼면 봐서 닝 타반이 잠르지야다 게 전부지 다 된지 요가 있나 닝 타반이 책잠만 닝 타반이 잡는 로지 요가 있나 토포도 좀 왔다 생긴 토포도 좀 가서 쇼대야 하다가 생긴 토라 템바 인도 레코노데 된데 야보 마존나요 고 리브 자치 문제도 같은데 용요로 인도시 토포도 좀 왔다 템바 인베스 좀세 생긴 토다 템바레 생긴 토다 템바 인자 치바치 동격이 노바 담에도 많이 이제 노바 텐데 다 나한게 바치 녀모도 좀 그래다 텐데게 쇼침보 메제바 텐데 메제바 바치기 메소바 임바 메제바세 대한어 이제 나 연대제 제발이나요 마지바남 네사디 제야요 레라로 로야 지스마나요 다 냠가와 다단다 잠로 요아인자 때는 생긴도다 때윤도 뒤 진진람네 요데 남 제라시 냠가와 근데 고네 공배는 저기 요래서 좀센티 som나 때네 네 근데 존데 잠로 제거래서 잠로 라다 라고래서 근데 잠로 제동 돼요 지과도 대반인 거래서 숨바로와 예자 론다 다 잠로 파바지이나 다 라니 고항에서 동안이 제네 델리 조비 누바 그 델리 조비 연대 다 군조를 봐 이 집에 건데 잡선 로한테 잠로 탐마대로 다 라니 고안에 달비 체도 군조 잡선 로이나 잠로 드인서 다른 이제 삼제 탐제에서는 삼제 탐제도 손제 도바자 대제 잡선 로선 바제나 나 잠로 줘도 줘거든 이 말에 얘네다 남매 젠나고지 냠부 잠로 동바제나 잠로 동 제일다 잠로 색삼마도 이제 와도 대바매야지 다 신단다 som지 잠로 nyambu tomba yena jambu tomba chigbare yena sonam chejong khagare yena dimse machine sekdam dongen de da choose son yo marwa jambu sekdam jore mado tela konon de me ayende choose son yo mare da nimba de ene da rani nesong 동안에 타야나 팽이 요리 마도 타비조는 로비오 말이 선바데 타비조는 로비오레데 탐제점이 조는 로비오 말이 제바데게는 탐제점이 조는 로비오 아닌데 그래다 그게 네네 섬나도 노게 제발 된데 좀 로비오레 된데인데 근주바도 텔레조비 누바 군조요비 요네 테네 yin taban이 다 잡서서 yin taban 잡서 yin ta반다 저런 시념을 느끼게 해야 돼. 다 잡서 손에 대랍자 말아봐이나 건조나 좀 논담해 그래. 인제는 랍자라 만다와라. 배sor제야 존재해야 돼. 내가 전부도 세상.
So, Lama Tsongkhapa continues with his personal instructions regards to the importance of practicing the refuge precepts after having taken refuge in the three jewels. So firstly, here refers to refuge as being the great door to enter into the Buddha's teachings. So here, the demarcation point, whether one is a Buddhist or not, or where, as in the Tibetan, whether one is an insider or an outsider. So this, the difference between that is marked by the practice of refuge. Here, Rinpoche says refuge is like the great door of a mansion. You enter through that door to be inside of the mansion. You exit through that door to be outside of it. So likewise, the practice of refuge is like a great door that marks the border between outside and inside, whether one is a Buddhist or not. Whether one enters into the teachings or not. So not only that, if one were to practice refuge that transcends mere verbalization. So as mentioned yesterday, if one were to take refuge in the three jewels, not from the depths of one's being, but merely by mouthing, even just mouthing the lines of refuge, the words of refuge, still one can achieve the temporal benefits of reversing or removing any obstacles or interruptions. However, one would not be able to receive the entire benefits of refuge as mentioned in the scriptures. So therefore, it is important to take refuge from the depths of one's being. And if one were to do that, and not just mere verbalization, but to entrust from the depths of one's being, then one would be relying on the excellent power. Here it says the highest power. So the highest and most excellent power, which is the power of the three jewels. And as I mentioned even before, that one, even without an actual intention, any action created towards the three jewels, it will reap inconceivable results, ripening results. So therefore, by relying on the power of the three jewels, or taking refuge in the three jewels, one will receive the benefit of not being hindered by outer or inner interruptions. The outer interruptions of different kinds of spirits, obstacle makers and so forth, and interrupting one's practice. And also one would not be harmed by the inner interruptions, such as the afflictive emotions, the three poisonous attitudes and so forth. So these interruptions would not be able to create obstacles for oneself. So then also, if one takes refuge in the three jewels from the depths of one's being, those qualities that had previously not been generated would be easily generated, and those qualities that have been generated would be difficult to deteriorate. Now, one would be able to maintain them. It would be difficult for them to deteriorate, and those qualities will continue to grow and increase. So therefore, if one therefore, it's important to continuously train in the practice of refuge, and for that, it is important to focus on the two causes of refuge, which is fear of suffering and faith in the power of the three jewels to protect us from such suffering. So fear and faith are the two important factors of proper refuge practice. So if one were to fear the suffering of the lower realms, merely the suffering of the lower realms, rebirth in the lower realms, and then go for refuge in the three jewels, with the faith that the three jewels possess the power to protect us from such suffering of the lower realms, then this would be a lower form of practice of refuge. And if one were to have fear towards the suffering of the entirety of cyclic existence, the entire samsara, and take refuge in the three jewels due to that, with faith in the three jewels, then that would be the middling refuge. If one were to take refuge in the three jewels in order to achieve Buddhahood for the sake of others, and believing the faith in the three jewels being able to help us achieve that, then this would be the supreme refuge. So, for example, if there were like four types of practitioners, four different people simultaneously taking refuge, and for example, the first person, if a first person taking refuge would be just merely mouthing the words of refuge with no, not possessing the two causes of refuge, not having fear nor faith, then this person would be, as we mentioned before, receiving only temporal benefit, not entire benefits of refuge. And in comparison to the other three people taking refuge, so these four people, even though they may be simultaneously reciting the lines of refuge, however, the merit that they receive from these recitations differ due to the difference in their mental intentions. So the first person who recites refuge without any mental thought process, just merely reciting the words, then that practice does not become actual dharma because there's no actual intention. Then the second person takes refuge due to fear lower realms, and then receives the benefit in order to receive the benefit of not being born in the lower realms, takes refuge in the three jewels. Then there's a person at the refuge of the lower capacity, and then the third person takes refuge with the benefit of intention of receiving the benefit of achieving liberation for oneself. Then that is a middling refuge. Then the fourth person were to take refuge with the intention of obtaining an omniscient state of Buddhahood. That would be the being of the refuge of the greatest capacity. So due to the difference in their thoughts and their intentions, then they take refuge and they receive these different results from the same practice of refuge. So therefore it is important to entrust ourselves entirely from the depths of our being to the three jewels. And also, having taken such refuge, one should steadfastly observe the precepts of refuge, because if one does not observe the precepts of refuge, the three jewels will not be able to protect us. So it's important to practice refuge, and also equally important to observe the precepts of refuge. Yes.
대단 지와지 신행으로 제가 삼민직만은 대대조비 잡네 군조 소민이나 이제 대라 잡수 송신 군조선 잡수 송신 대 라자도 망가와 제바나 잡지 제다 좀 냠나스 근데 군조선 잡수 로게 요새 잡수로 근데 라자라 말아봤지 라자는 게 되면 이나 좁단 말이야 근데 라자도 망가와 제바이나 잡지 조금 그래서 제다를 좀 냠나 제다 좀 냠나 처음에 세비성을 조제는 얘는 제자나는데 대지지 받던 말에 제자는 이제 자고서 시송마 따라서 얘가 나 간데서 쪼고요 그래서나 손이 좀 내게 단다 당연히 제발에 좁동로 간데서나 겐로 제야 돼 디바무게와 제바한테 제기래 디바무게와 제지어 말에 선에 동해 잡동바보 차대요. 근데 잡동바보 손제지 잠르베 다로데 견두군 좋지. 그래다 잠무데 추위 잡고요. 얘네는 좀 내게 세배송을 조제랑 얘네 체장난나 대해서 동아들의 탑된 애 채널도 땡이요. 다 채널도 좁고래. 마 생계에마도 예 제도해요 말이지. 다시지 봐 동마다 채널이 자고서 대시지 봐 동제대 지연의 자고서 단 열만 같은 내용이요. 시송받아 예야다다 얘네 줘다 탑이 남 땡지 타바로나라레 시버주스 내 탑이 남에 제정 된 말이 타방은 전화도 좀 맞고 그래. 전화도 라데 그래서 된다서 말이야. 근데 대노지 단다네 인송에 동안은 제기 잡을 놓지네 근처도 잡는데 내 간데스 잡고 열세나 나 근처에 숨비 달랜데 너네지 먹여봐 뭐 먹여봐 쪽 제난 잡고요.
So then the text continues with this question: thus, when you generate fear through mindfulness of death, and the thought that after death you will be born in a miserable realm, the refuge that protects you from this is the three jewels. You uphold them as your refuge and do not contravene their precepts. Nonetheless, how do the refuges protect you? So therefore, when meditating upon death and impermanence, one were to generate fear of rebirth in the lower realms, and due to this fear, rebirth in the lower realms after death, and if due to this fear one were to search for an actual object of refuge, and finding the three jewels possessing such ability, then holding the three jewels as refuge, as one's refuge, and then after that, it is important to not contradict or go against the trainings or precepts of refuge. If one contradicts that, then the three jewels cannot protect us. But if we want to observe that, one were to observe these precepts, then the three jewels can definitely protect us. Hence, this question: how do the three jewels actually protect us? And the reply here is a quotation from a text called the Collection of Indicative Verses. Here it says, "I, the Tathagata, the teacher, reveal to you the path that stops the pains of existence. You must follow it." So how the Bhagavan Buddha protects us from the lower realms is by teaching us how to avoid the negativities, negativities and non-virtuous actions, because they result in suffering. Therefore, one should avoid these actions. The Buddha teaches that. So the Buddha is the teacher of refuge, the Sangha is the supporter of refuge, and the actual refuge is the Dharma itself. So the text here continues to say, thus the Buddha is the one who teaches refuge, and the community assists you in accomplishing refuge. But the real refuge is in the jewel of the teaching, because once you have attained it, you are liberated from fear. With regard to this, the ultimate teaching jewel, So therefore, in this way, one should practice this refuge. The Buddha teaches. The Buddha says in this verse, the Buddha says, "I am the teacher, and you should. I merely show the path to liberation, and it is up to you to practice this path, cultivate this path, and achieve the results of liberation." Then how does the three jewels protect us from fear of suffering? The three jewels teach us the law of karma, and teaches us to practice virtue, cultivate the practice of virtue, as well as abandoning non-virtuous actions and negativities.
Redan godense ya di kandige sege orsena ane lam gomne ane da nyomo ma de shiji de ba konyo rongwa ji lar me je chu jen de jene bangba de la godense sege ore da lar me je chu jen de je ba se chenje dan de je ya me ji me bangba se song ge ore 자 내가 봐시와 잠재 팽겨 말해. 근데 잠바도 ninja 고민도 거나 공로 신도야 너. 근데 용기 어레데 디 때는 맞아 차야 말아. 이제 단다 고den서야 도면도 다 때는 제야 매봐. 차기 거래. 이제 대답을 남면 집에 추진해서 제네 방비 렌도마지 차대라 고den서 기어지. 대답 본제제 람 대라 니 람데서 기어지. 대님보다 장무도 대차되 나 대장무이 막가르세나 대토바나 다 갑고도 고인나 된지과 될 조사르바 인도에 접동된데 소인 말
So here, the text says the Buddha is the one who teaches refuge, and the community assists you in accomplishing refuge. But the real refuge is the jewel of the teaching, because once you have attained it, you are liberated from fear. So when one says, I take refuge in the Dharma, in the teaching, then what one is taking refuge in is actually the noble truth of cessation and the noble truth of the path. So here, the noble truth of cessation is achieved through meditating or practicing the path. Through that, then one abandons either the obscurations of the afflictive emotions or the obscurations to knowledge. Either of these is abandoned in its entirety, henceforth abandoning its entirety without without ability for the delusions or these obscurations to arise once more. So when one does that, so here one is not merely temporarily abandoning these obscurations or afflictive emotions, one is abandoning them in their entirety so that it can never arise again. So for example, when one has anger, and as an antidote to that, one were to meditate on loving compassion, loving kindness and compassion, these states of mind are antidotes to anger only on a temporal level. One does not entirely, it merely stops the thought of anger for that moment, but it is not, and one does not entirely remove the affliction of anger in its entirety. So therefore, when one achieves this state of cessation, this noble truth of cessation, then one has totally abandoned all these, abandoned these obscurations or defilements, afflictive emotions, without, so that they do no longer arise once more again in the future. So this is done by cultivating the path, the noble truth of the path that causes one to abandon these obscurations, and then through that one achieves this noble truth of cessation. So therefore, these two are the actual refuges, the actual Dharma refuge, a Dharma jewel, and which is one's actual refuge. So when one achieves that, then one is totally liberated from fear.
소리에서 보면 본바당 연대 소리에서 두비 도반이 고내 치슈보다 송원 치슈가 송원은 저게 될리 예노는 요아 메노 숨발 일단 타이 다나도 톱자 세대야게 고대는 남대에서 돼야돼 로고 톱자도 용기 어려워서 난 말해서 오늘 간데 용어서는 레 동법에 감네 근데 좀 소리 세 연대 소리지. 이제 내 동법 가서 좀 소리 세대와 돼. 나야 죄송의 침배이나 고대는 그래서 내 동법 가서 연대 중세를 여봐. 대권의 야 펜로드거나 남대 차로 그래서 숨겨.
So then the text says, with regard to this, the ultimate teaching jewel is defined as a special fulfillment of the gradual increase of two things. The beginning practitioner's elimination of a mere portion of faults, and his or her knowledge that brings about a mere portion of good qualities. This is not something that appears adventitiously. So with regards to the ultimate object of attainment, the Noble Truth of Cessation and the Noble Truth of the Path, are these achieved in an adventitious way, adventitiously? And so here the answer is that it's not, because for the beginner who begins to cultivate the path, even a small portion of abandonment of faults, as that abandonment gradually increases, eventually it fulfills into the attainment of the Noble Truth of Cessation. And at the beginning of the path, even if it gives rise to a mere portion of qualities, as those qualities increase in size and increase in amount in its force, then eventually it ripens into fulfillment of the attainment of the Noble Truth of the Path. Yes.
조비 체든 잠로치기 여러와 대갑전에 손제도 잡던 법이지 jam무지 주지 견주 잠주기 좋아지 인자다 지유 중국 감들 좀 그게 주대 가리 야고르세나 감내네 게임게 드베도 집에 남이나 개발 전에 너네 수진도 주바실라 주스자고대 인자단다 예송의 동안에 좁지지 추대 가르세나 게임게 드베도 집하다 레게발레 드베데와 중요하다 먹게와는 드베 동안 용아 나 게임게 남이나 개발지 근데 먹게와 중요지 이나요 뽕 개발 중요지 이나 좁 제발이나 다 감들 예송의 동안에 좁야게 추대 되래서 뒤쪽고요 그래죠.
So then we move on to the next page, 209. And here in the text, Sulama Tsongkhapa explains the reason for this, to practice like this is that, for example, in the refuge of the lower scope, now the being takes refuge in the three jewels due to the fear of rebirth in the lower realms after death. So here one goes for refuge to the Buddha as the actual teacher of refuge, as the teacher of refuge, goes to refuge to the Dharma jewel as the actual refuge in itself, and goes to refuge to the Sangha jewel as the support of refuge, practice of refuge. So here, how does the Dharma protect us from such? The refuge, the Dharma that one goes for refuge to, Dharma jewel that one goes for refuge to, how does that protect us from such suffering? So here it says, at this point, master the classifications of virtue and non-virtue, as well as their effects. You must then make it your practice to properly cast aside non-virtues and adopt virtues. So with regard, one needs to know the differences and the different types of classifications with regards to these two phenomena, the virtuous actions and non-virtuous actions. The virtuous actions result in, ripen as the results of happiness, and the non-virtuous actions ripen into results of suffering. So therefore, one needs to master the classifications, the differences between these two, and different types of virtuous and non-virtuous actions. And then having done so, one goes about actually abandoning the acts of non-virtue, the non-virtuous actions, as well as cultivating the virtuous actions.
간데스 조구여서남 내선도 제야 돼. 근데 되고 먹게 온 내선 제로 요하다. 그래다 먹게 좀 먹게 주름 송반이나 근데 된로도 제야. 먹게 좀 보더라. 요번이나 내선 제로야. 된대 용거 요와. 근데 저때 먹게 좀 제반이나 내선 제로 요래. 근데 먹게 좀 마이나 내선 저 돈로 아닌데 내선 지과데 조명이요래. 그래다 좀 된다는데 소원이 내년에도 좀 render선 논도 수지는 맞는 연주 좀 더비 내년은 이제 지과될 메로베처럼 다 내년은 지과이나 근데 연주 줘도 거래. 저는 뭐게 줘보더래 대본 거래서 다음에 저도 마도바 얘나 연주 동안은 지금 요 지자 요나요 팽게 말해. 그랬으면 도gen 나게 요와시 그래 다 도스 지 세대요나 되는 줘봐요지 나가요시 다 연조 도스에지 대비나 다 거셔야를 마도 담요 자야요 말아 자야다 다 도스에는 지과 충분히나 다 현재 도 마사지 맨데 되는 제비나 그 도대 자로로 된노지 내서 제약이 줘대 먹여가 차도 거래 이제 먹여 bom바이나 내서 제가 말했어 이제 내서 그 동안 쪼비하게 잡 문에대 먹여 줘 보야 돼 차도
So here, the proper taking with regards to karma, the proper adoption of adoption and abandonment. These are this is the way that the Dharma protects us from suffering by adopting virtuous practices of virtue, cultivating virtuous actions, and abandoning non-virtuous actions. This is how the Dharma jewel protects us from suffering at this point of time. If one were to be fearful of rebirth in the lower realms, one must understand that rebirth in the lower realms is caused by is a ripening result of negative karma. It's caused by negative karma. Therefore, one needs to abandon. One needs to take up the ethics of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions in order to prevent such rebirth. If one is able to observe properly the ethics of abandoning 10 non-virtuous actions, one would definitely achieve rebirth in the happy migrator realm, in the higher realms. And if one is unable to do that, unable to observe such ethics, then one will be reborn in the lower realms, in the suffering realms. So therefore, this is how the Dharma jewel protects us from fear of rebirth in the lower realms. If one is fearful of rebirth in the lower realms, and one must be able to practice the ethics, moral ethics of abandoning 10 non-virtuous actions. It is not sufficient to be merely fearful of the lower realms. One must be able to stop the causes for rebirth in these lower realms. And the way to do that is to abandon the 10 non-virtuous actions, to cultivate such ethics. So it's like taking poison. A person who has taken poison and even just merely fearful of the effects of poison, which is death, is not sufficient. If one were to be able to rely on the medicine that can stop the reverse or stop that poison, the effects of the poison, only then can one be liberated from the fear of the effects of the poison. So therefore, it's not sufficient to merely fear rebirth in the lower realms. One must be able to stop the cause of the rebirth in the lower realms appearing or ripening. So the way to do that is to abandon the 10 non-virtuous actions, take up the ethics of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. In this way, one can liberate, only through this way can one liberate oneself from fear of rebirth in the lower realms. So therefore, this is the main practice in this point of time, the ethics of abandoning the 10 non-virtuous actions. Yes.
내가 먹어 야 다대 말해 근데 대단히 죽은 저 진든 봐서 그걸 단다 죽은 영혼에도 말봐 죽은 영혼에도 밥이 공사 주는 맛도 말 이제 딱 있어야 돼야 돼 타이 죽은 저 해야 돼 단대 안온 쪽에 jonare pambe pomba teta yonde nare jibi yonde ni mode ya peyundu gona tai chugunjo chano 그래 숨바래 근데 단디 거기 chugunjo 차야게 단디 에다 좀 pombe pomba teta yonde ni mode 대도 지스도 맞자고요 에다 타이 chugunjo도 지스 tumbe 단디 내갑지 좀 보야다 연대제 아니 뭐 뒤쪽 그거래 대연단다 지 중국감들 게미게 다 남이 되고 삼 근데 되고 뭐 그거 개발도야 되는 거지 대한어지다 코비드 농아 본제 죽은 조대라 가리자세나 그래다 두된 코비드 님의삼 에누금 용이 뭐대 남대금 제야 대인 말에 렌진 온도다 생기만 한번 요구하되 지금 드랭게 값이 거기 동안에 조비 잡지. 나 지금 전부 값다 얘나네 담니 이제 좀 보통 주제 셈 애니 싫어 동문이도 싫어 근데 다시 손은 저기 로테게 나로도 이제 로 레는 좀지 공유한 말. 지금 전부 값이다. 장무에 다시 손은 저 냠선에 해야 돼 말이야.
So so this way, protecting from rebirth in the lower realms is the aim of the beings of the lower capacity when take refuge in the three jewels to protect oneself from rebirth in the lower realms, and the main practice of that is to abandon the 10 non-virtuous actions. And however, this is not the actual Dharma jewel as mentioned before. The actual Dharma jewel is possessed only by the excellent beings, the Arya or the noble beings, but however, the practice of the Dharma or refuge in the Dharma in the lower being, in the lower capacity, at the level of the lower capacity being, that is conforming to the Dharma jewel. It is similar to Dharma jewel, conforming to Dharma jewel, because as mentioned before, the ultimate Dharma jewel is a state of abandonment and attainment that has its sources or its roots in the beginnings, humble beginnings of the practitioner, initially making small efforts to abandon small portions of faults and cultivating or giving rise to small portions of qualities, ultimately ripening into the fulfillment of the actual Dharma jewel. So therefore, in the beginner's level, that kind of refuge to be able to free oneself from fear of rebirth in the lower realms and going refuge to Dharma jewel. And in order to do that, abandoning non-virtuous actions, cultivating virtuous actions, and this through understanding the different classifications of non-virtue and non-virtue. So in this way, this practice, this beginner's practice, ultimately conforms to the ultimate Dharma jewel that one will attain in the future. So therefore, the actual Dharma jewel that causes one to abandon the entirety of cyclic existence or samsara, that is through contemplating the noble truth of suffering, and then meditating onto the noble truth of the path, then eventually attaining the noble truth of cessation and so forth. And then therefore that would be a Dharma jewel or a kind of refuge conforming to a being of practitioner of the middling scope. And for practitioners of the greater scope, their refuge also combines not only the above mentioned, but also combines the practice of compassion as the method of the path. They practice in mind of great compassion, and also as for the wisdom aspect of the path, they cultivate the wisdom of emptiness, the wisdom of understanding emptiness. So, and then they go for refuge to the three jewels in order to protect themselves from the mind that wishes to accomplish merely one's own benefit. And so, therefore, as in the practice of refuge in the higher scope, there is also a practice of the union of the method and wisdom together. Yes.
스바도 시반인긴 지과 시진 지과데 로비 체도 잡선 로고 요르와 엔다 론도니 이제 거는 노네 년옹 다좀은 뭐 톱스만이나 SMJ 동안 제야매와 주름부 봐도 레다 냠잘레 시델레 영진에 저서 첨부지 총장도 요래 이제 대라인 지과 고요 단 고반 마타바이나 롱 고반의 마타는 yen 고반의 다투고 매야 인도 고변지과 레 조고 요래 대라인 탑지 송되고 탐니지 뭐 고민도 거나 론동 이제 로 좀네 신다 이거도 좀 요래 돈이도 비 싫어 고민도 세방 코비 싸와 노요 아닌데 근데 세빈지과레 좀 요래 인자단다 지부 침부가도 다시 손을 내봐대 and the yes, we are the name.
So, with regards to refuge that is being practiced, the kind of refuge that is being practiced within the scope of the highest being, here one takes refuge in the three jewels in order to protect oneself from the fear of cyclic existence, samsara, as well as the fear of the peace of nirvana, of lower nirvana here. So here, for example, if one were to achieve the kind of nirvana that is a cessation that is achieved by the hearers, the arhats, and the solitary realizers, the pratyeka Buddhists, then that kind of nirvana is achieved for one's own purpose, and one practices the path for one's own benefit. And if one were to achieve that kind of cessation, then one would be lost within those states of meditative absorptions for long periods of time, and then here Rinpoche used the word like distracted, towards that kind of concentration, that kind of absorption for long periods of time without being distracted from the purpose of benefiting other sentient beings. So therefore one would not be able to benefit sentient beings for a long period of time. So the practitioner of the highest scope takes refuge from this kind of fear of this kind of absorptions. So also this kind of distraction from achieving the purpose of other sentient beings. And also, if one has not freed oneself from the suffering of cyclic existence, one would not be able to free or liberate others from fear of cyclic existence as well. So therefore, with the fear of cyclic existence, then going for refuge to the three jewels. So, and then at this point in time, through practicing a union of method and wisdom, meditating on compassion, in order to abandon the mind seeking to benefit oneself, one becomes a fitting refuge or object to able to protect other sentient beings or liberate other sentient beings from suffering of cyclic existence. And also one meditates upon the wisdom of emptiness, which is the antidote to the cyclic existence, antidote to the root of cyclic existence, the ignorant mind, clinging inherently existing self. So in this way, one also uproots the causes of cyclic existence. One becomes a fitting refuge. One is able to protect sentient beings. And so therefore, this kind of refuge is being practiced, is the actual Dharma jewel or practice within the higher scope, for practitioner of the higher scope.
So here the Dharma, Dharma of the great capable being is the Dharma is practicing cooperatively the method of wisdom. So both because in the highest tantra, because in the tantra, of course, it's different meaning, unification. So one mind is practicing method of wisdom. So here, explain that here, here what Rinpoche is saying, the Dharma of the great capable being. So the Dharma that is practiced the method of wisdom corporately, but how? By two separate minds, practicing two separate minds. So the mind practicing method, the mind practicing wisdom, separate mind. But practicing corporately. So that's the Dharma of the great capable being. So
the making on one point that Rinpoche mentioned just a while ago was that the compassion stops or seizes the extremities of personal nirvana, personal liberation, and to practice compassion seizes or stops the extremities of personal liberation, and the method, the wisdom, practice of wisdom stops or seizes the extremities of cyclic existence. Yes. So when one cultivates the practice of refuge, one sees the Buddha as the teacher of refuge. One sees the Dharma as the actual refuge itself, and one sees the Sangha jewel as the supporter of refuge, supporter for the practice of refuge. So one should go for refuge to three jewels with such a way of recognition, such recognition. So so the Dharma jewel is an object to be attained, is the object to be practiced, cultivated, and the object to be realized, to attain. So the final Dharma jewel, the one attains, begins with the beginner level, gradually abandoning faults bit by bit, in small bit by bit, and then accumulating qualities, perfecting qualities bit by bit. So this bit by bit process, should be done as much as one is able to. So at the beginner's level, one should abandon faults as much as one is able to, and to cultivate qualities as much as, or nurture qualities as much as one is able to. And so therefore, one needs to have faith through his rituals and practice in this way. Yes. So please apply whatever you heard to the actual practice.
Nama
Also, there is the last part of she said was that if you, as a beginner's practice, one abandons faults to the best of one's ability and nurtures qualities to the best of one's ability, this should be seen as an act of actual refuge to the Dharma jewel. So this is the actual practice of refuge.